You ever open your phone just to check one thing and then look up, realizing 30 minutes disappeared into a blur of taps, swipes, and tabs? Maybe you don't even remember what you were trying to do in the first place, just static in the mind. That's digital clutter. And while it doesn't leave piles on your desk or floors you can trip over, it's messing with something far more important, your brain. The strange thing is, we rarely notice it. Unlike physical clutter, there's no visual pile of old photos, voice memos, half-written notes, unread articles, saved reels, 20 open Chrome tabs, or 3 versions of the same Google Doc. But all of it is still there, hidden inside our devices, in the background of our attention, slowly draining our clarity. The mind has a capacity for noise, and like an inbox that never empties, digital clutter accumulates silently. We think we're organized because we use folders, apps, and cloud sync, but under the surface, there's a cost to every new note you save, every screenshot you never delete, every notification that buzzes and waits unanswered. Here's the paradox. We accumulate digital tools and content hoping to make our lives easier. But instead, we end up overwhelmed by the very things meant to help us focus. The tools we depend on to organize our minds have become a source of fragmentation. It's not that any single app or tab is a problem. It's the cumulative effect, like the hum of 1,000 thoughts all whispering at once. The brain wasn't built for infinite inboxes. We evolved in environments with sensory clarity, where every input mattered. Sounds, sights, smells had meaning. Now, we live in worlds with endless inputs and no boundaries. Studies in cognitive science have shown that open loops, unfinished thoughts, unchecked notifications, unanswered messages consume mental energy even when you're not actively thinking about them. They become cognitive residue. Imagine waking up with a full battery, but you've got apps running in the background all day. None of them on their own kill your performance, but together they drain your capacity. You're left feeling foggy, distracted, unable to focus. And the worst part is, you blame yourself. You think you're lazy or unmotivated, when in reality, your mental RAM is jammed with invisible clutter. There's something particularly deceptive about digital clutter. With physical mess, we see it. With digital mess, we forget it exists until we try to think clearly and can't. Here's where the reframing begins. The point of digital tools isn't to store everything, it's to free you to focus on what matters now. Most of us hoard information just in case, but the brain doesn't thrive on just in case, it thrives on what now. There's a psychological effect called the Zeigarnik effect. It explains how our brains fixate on unfinished tasks. That half-read article saved to Pocket, that email draft sitting in your outbox, the voice memo you intended to transcribe, they all echo in your subconscious as unresolved loops. The more digital trails we leave open, the harder it is for our brain to feel like it can rest. But the escape isn't in more productivity hacks. It's not another app promising better task management. It's deeper than that. It's about boundaries, intentional friction, choosing less so your mind can experience more. One of the most profound shifts you can make is to stop treating your mind like a hard drive and start treating it like a lens. Clarity comes not from storing everything, but from learning what to let go of. I once met someone who deleted all their saved bookmarks every month. When I asked why, they said, if it was truly important, I'll remember it or come across it again. It sounded extreme, maybe even careless, but over time, I realized their mind was lighter, their attention sharper. They trusted their brain to hold what mattered and let go of the rest. There's a kind of mental minimalism hidden in that approach. Not the aesthetic, clean desk, tidy home kind, but a clarity that comes from intentional forgetting, making peace with not needing to remember everything, trusting that your worth isn't in how many resources you've saved, but in how well you can be present with what's in front of you. When we reduce digital clutter, we're not giving up knowledge. We're reclaiming cognitive space. Like pruning a tree, it's not loss, it's design. Each deleted photo, each cleared tab, each unsubscribed newsletter is a quiet act of taking back your attention. And something beautiful happens when you do. You start to notice your thoughts again, not just reaction loops from dopamine hits. You feel stillness. You breathe deeper. Time slows down. You're no longer living at the speed of your inbox. But escaping digital clutter isn't a one-time purge. It's a habit of awareness, a shift in how you relate to your tools. It's asking, do I need this, or am I just afraid to let go of it? Am I collecting or curating? The truth is, you're not supposed to remember everything. You're not a machine. And despite what tech promises you, more storage is not the same as more freedom. Real clarity comes when you stop chasing perfect organization and start creating space to think, to feel, to decide what matters without 37 tabs whispering for your attention. We've been taught that more data, more notes, more connections will make us smarter. But sometimes intelligence is subtraction. Wisdom is what remains after you remove the unnecessary. So here's your invitation. Open your phone. Delete 5 things. Doesn't matter what. Just begin. Maybe it's that blurry photo, that note that made sense 2 years ago, that tab you'll never read, not because it's not useful, but because you need room to breathe. You are not your reminders. You are not your saved links. You are not your folders. You are the attention behind it all. You are the one who gets to choose what stays and what goes. And when you do, when you release even a little digital noise, you'll start to hear something far more important. Your own thoughts. Again, not the algorithms, not the notifications, yours. That's when you'll know your mind is no longer buried under data. It's alive, aware, and finally free.